naturally occurring, the IgM type, but these ones also are capable of causing the hemolysis. So now, when you want to do, but I think for your case, it's mostly for the, we have different applications, but for your case, probably is the, when you are doing the platelets, but also we have when you are doing blood group O, the latest suggestion or direction is that you have to do AB titers, the antibody A and antibody B titers for all blood group O donors. Yeah, though it is not really so much been implemented, but that is the case. So just simply just trying to customize this one, and maybe just go to, so this is what we are saying, that the ABO titers. So basically we just want to see the concentration of antibody A and antibody B, especially on blood group O. Yeah, just what is the concentration, because if you do it, if you transfuse blood group O in AB or other blood group recipients other than blood group O, then those anti-A and B, if they are at higher titer, then it is capable of causing hemolysis. Yeah. So now we have the blood antibodies in IgM and IgG, you know all that science, a bit of it. And so reactions due to high titers of IgM and IgG antibodies, both the IgM natural and IgG which are immune. And so the strength of reaction depends on the antibody titers, but of course sometimes dependent on age, gender, race, and geographical distribution. And so we are saying blood group O has, as you know from the ABO system, blood group O has anti-A and anti-B. Doesn't have antigen A and doesn't have antigen B, but it has the antis. Yeah. So now, why do we do the titration, or why is it necessary for your platelets transfusion when you are doing the organ transplant, and when maybe for some countries who have to do it for some, especially the to prevent the, what is this, the hate this, okay, forgetting the nini, where you have the HDFN, the hemolytic disease of the fetus, and the newborn, platelet transfusion, organ transplantation. So these are the applications that you need at least to consider the ABO titers for all blood group O, for all blood group O donors. So now, why we do the ABO titers is because we have what we call the major cross-match technique, the one that you know when you do with this machine, whether compatible or incompatible. So why we need to go ahead and do these titers of the ABO, of the AB, anti-B and anti-A, is because in this major cross-match, the main, that means the main cross-match that we do here, one that you are not able to do is, according to your standards, you don't do it on NeoIris or on ECHO, you can only do it because of your hospital standards. So this one, it does not detect the anti-A and B antibodies in O blood, since the donor cells are washed to remove the plasma or the serum. So you realize there is a step, a washing step. So this anti-A and B will be missed in that major cross-match. But especially in sophisticated procedures like platelets transfusion or ABO or organ transplantation, liver, kidney, and all that, you have to go ahead and try to and do this AB titers. And the aim is to make sure that you have the lowest AB titer for transfusion in such cases, so that you ensure the safety of the patient, so that you prevent the what we call the hemolytic disease, not the hemolytic reaction, sorry. So the objective is actually what we call the ABGAT, ABG18, to achieving baseline low anti-blood group titer. So that is ABGAT. I'm going to share this summarized slide. So for post-transplant patients, but also now for your case, especially is for the platelets transfusion. So again, this one is something that is being recommended more and more. In Europe, it's being done almost as a mandatory test before, even after you have done the major cross-match. So
for the platelets, you're doing it for the O-positive donors,
yeah, actually you do the major for titration. You only do it for blood group O donors. Yes, for blood group O donors. Just the blood that is blood group O. Yes, because that is where we have the anti-A and anti-B. You don't want any hemolytic, and especially when you are transfusing it to non-O blood groups recipient. Like you want O to A or to B or to AB. So that is critical. For O to O, then that one is fine. Yeah. So now, just trying to summarize all of this. So, so now, titration is just like a serial dilution. So you start, like, for example, in our case here, we are going to have this well where I know probably you are aware of how serial dilution is done. If you are using tubes, then you have the first kind of concentrated solution, and then you divide it, or you serially dilute it, you double dilute. So probably this is one whole part, so this other one will be two whole parts, this other one will be, the third one will be like four whole parts. So it's like 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, up to whatever kind of dilution or titration that you want. So now the first one here is 1, but now we represent this dilution or titration as 1 is to like 2, or 1 is to like 16, and all that. 1 is to like 64. So 1 ratio 64, 1 ratio 1496, depending on how much your dilution, you want your dilution, or according to the technique that you are using. And remember, this is the same case that you have to do in microbiology when you want to do to just know the concentration of certain bacteria inside the blood. It's the same kind of thing. So, for example, but we say here that the titer for this ABO, AB anti-A or anti-B, either IgM or IgG, we say that this titer is the inverse or the opposite of dilution, at which endpoint agglutination is +1. For example, you have started with your main solution here, your main plasma here, and you have serially diluted it. For example, this is 10. So this is, for example, just trying to 10, 20, or 40 there. So what we are calling the titer here, you can have a reaction at the second well and at that well, but now for you to report that titration, it is the last one that will give a +1, the grading that we know. Yeah, so it could be here 64, for example, or 1:2 here, and it is giving a reaction, and 1:4 is also giving a reaction, and 1:8 is also giving you a reaction. But now 1 to 16 is giving you like a +2. All of the first three are giving you +1, so you report the last +1. Of course, now that is the principle behind it, but the machine will report it for you because this is automated system. Yeah, so it will, the final reading that it will give you, it means that is where the final reading was done, and that is the titer that you need to report. Yeah, so of course you have different methods. You have the tube technique, that is the manual method, of course, and we know that there are also automated systems that use tube technique. We have like the column agglutination technology like this one, or our across gel. And you also have now whatever we are concentrating today on, which is the solid phase red cell adherence, or the capture, the one that uses the capture, or this kind of plates on our neo iris. So the different methods, of course, why this whole method is a bit easy or more preferred is because for gel you have to treat it with DTT for you to be able to differentiate between IgM and IgG. But for our capture especially, you are able to, the reagents that we use and the technology which is patented only to Immucor currently, you are able to do IgM separately and IgG separately. So that is one of the advantages of this procedure that we are going to use. And of course, this one is less time consuming, and the errors of reporting. So you can imagine you are reporting manually. So this one anaona +1 iko hapa, and the other one anaona +1 iko another place. But this one is automated. It will give you an outright result. So now,
Back to what was
yes,
you have said that it's selective, huh?
yes,
It's going to give you IgG,
yes.
IgM. So apparently you are going to run them concurrently, or you are going to run singly. Is it that there is the format of
Yes.
CHOSI, which is IgM, IgG, all it is set?
Oh yeah, yes, we are going to see for our how the separation or the specificity of this equipment has been set is that for the IgM, we are going to use the normal place that we use for blood grouping. For the IgG anti-A or B, we are going to use the capture R select. So in one sample, you can be able to run it together for IgG or IgM because they are using different plates. Yes, and of course we always recommend, because capture, anything capture takes some more time. You first of all start the capture, iendeleange, and then you can set the one for the untreated microplates. Yes, so you can run it together. Yes.